up to 3 external displays, even on M1 MacBooks. Today, we're going to check out the iVANKY FusionDock Pro 1 Plus. Yeah, that's a mouthful, which features 14 ports to connect all of your devices, including support for up to 3 4K monitors. Before we dive in, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more reviews and Apple content. Also, a big shout out to iVANKY for sponsoring today's video. All right, we all know the best combo for performance and portability is a MacBook paired with an external monitor. You've got the big screen at home, but can still unplug the USB-C cable and take your MacBook to work anywhere. However, there are usually 2 big obstacles with this setup. First, how do we connect all our devices if the MacBook only has 3 USB-C ports? And second, what if you want to hook up more than 1 external display? Even worse, if you're still using an M1 powered Mac, you're limited to just 1 external monitor. And this is where the iVANKY docking station comes into play. Before we get into the multi-monitor setup, let's take a look at the ports and build quality of this dock. As you can see, it looks sleek and is pretty lightweight. That's probably because it's not entirely metal, but it still feels very well made. On the left, there's the USB-C port that connects to your MacBook, providing up to 100 watts of power. On the right, you'll find a locking port. Up front, there's a USB-C port offering up to 20 watts of power, a data USB-C port, 2 USB-A ports, SD card slots, a headphone jack, and the power button. All the USB ports on this dock support speeds up to 10 gigabits per second. On the back, we have the power input, a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, great if you need faster speeds to transfer files to a NAS, and 2 more USB-A ports, along with 3 HDMI inputs supporting up to 4K at 60 Hz. So let's hook up some devices and see how the iVANKY FusionDock Pro 1 Plus performs. For this setup, I'm using the Samsung UJ59 4K 32-inch display via HDMI, my 2TB Samsung T7 SSD, a USB adapter for my Logitech's MX Master, and the Ethernet for internet access and my connection to my Synology disk station. Even though the dock has a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, my switch and NAS are capped at 1 gigabit, but it's still nice to have for future upgrades. And last but not least, I'll connect my YU2 speakers. I'm using a Logitech keyboard from the Pebble 2 combo, and for clamshell mode, I've got the Automaton vertical laptop stand holder, which is adjustable for different laptop sizes. And before I forget, this is the Orbikey desk mat. I love it so much, and all links to all the products are here in the description below. Now, one thing that I find it super handy about the FusionDock is the SD card reader. To avoid accidentally formatting a card before I've copied the files, I just plug it into the dock and transfer everything directly to my Mac or NAS. There's no need for extra adapters. For the speed transfer on my Samsung T7, I'm getting pretty much the same speed as when I connect it straight to the computer. And if you have a base model MacBook like I do, you can leave your SSD plugged into the dock so you can always have extra storage available when you're home. A question I often get is whether keeping your MacBook in clamshell mode all the time can damage the computer or affect its performance. And honestly, in the past, before Macs had the M processors, I was a little bit more concerned, especially about overheating, but I'd never had any issues. And even then, actually, even now with the M processors, I've never had any issues. Now, as you can see, I don't have 3 monitors, but I do have 2 extra 4K camera monitors. So let's test the 3 monitor setup on a 16-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 Pro processor, which typically only supports 1 external monitor. iVANKY requires you to install Display Link Manager on your Mac before connecting all 3 monitors. And while this isn't my usual setup and the camera monitors are too small for practical use, all 3 displays work perfectly. If you need multiple monitors, this dock will handle them just fine. In conclusion, this is a very versatile setup. When you need to work remotely, just disconnect one cable from your Mac and you're ready to go. The Fusion Dock works extremely well, especially if you need to connect 3 monitors. One thing to note is that if you need faster transfer speeds than 10 gigabits per second, iVANKY offers other docking stations that supports that. And a, let's say, neutral or kind of like a downside is that the power brick is pretty big, but basically all docking stations have kind of the same issue. They keep it separate from the dock to keep the dock itself compact and prevent overheating. But okay, that's it for today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.